Hey guys, it's Christy and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I thought we would rank all of my Natasha Denona mini palettes. So before we get into it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright, so I have in the past ranked all of my Natasha Denona palettes, but I have never done a video where I just focus on her minis, and since that last video she's definitely released a few of those, so I thought we would just talk about her mini palettes today. Let's just hop right into it. Coming at number 10 is the mini Zendo. So this palette, there's honestly nothing wrong with it formula wise. It's just, for me, the color story isn't as cohesive as I would like. There's just something about it. I don't look at this palette and instantly know what I want to do. Yeah, I don't feel excited or inspired when I look at this one. There's just something about the color story that just doesn't work for me. So overall, this is a really pretty palette. It's just that if I want to use it, I've really got to look up videos on people using it to kind of get an idea of what kind of a look to create. And I don't like when I have to do that with my palettes. So for me, this color story just doesn't work. The formula is great, but the color story isn't my favorite. Moving into number 9 is one I have mentioned before as not being a favorite. This is the mini Sunset palette. So this one, I don't know if this one was always her best quality mini. I think this may have been one of her first minis. It's fine, and most of these browns I know are absolutely shades I would wear. I think my main beef with this one is that kind of the shimmery red. I don't know, it's just kind of random. When I look at it, I definitely see sunset, and I think it's very beautiful to look at, but to use on the eyes, it just doesn't really work for me. And then these other 4 browns I can pretty much get out of the mini nude. So this one is just, I don't know, it's just one of my least favorites because I just never want to reach for it because of that red. I just don't like reds on my eyes. Coming in at number 8 was, this one was released last year near the holidays, and this is the mini Metropolis. So this one is beautiful. I think a big part of the reason that this one is coming in lower on the totem pole is simply because I already have the full-size Metropolis, and I knew that when I purchased this, but these are really quite redundant in my collection. These all exist in the full size. So for that reason, this one is one I did not need to pick up, but I wanted to because I wanted to review it. I do think it's really, really beautiful, but again, we've got this situation where I love all the shades, but that blue just doesn't do it for me. I don't know exactly what to do with it with these other 4 shades. So for me, it's just not my favorite, and for that reason, it's a little bit lower. I like when I can look at one of her minis and just know I can use all 5 if I want to. I don't have to, but I know that I will know and love and use all 5 shades. So for that reason, that one, the mini Metropolis, is at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is the mini Gold. So this is one that I don't use nearly as often as I should because it's really beautiful, but over the years, as I've gotten into greens a little bit more, I've been thinking about digging this one up, especially as we go into the fall and more closer to the holidays. I think I'll really be reaching for this. There's just something about it that I think is really beautiful, and initially looking at the palette, there's these greens, there's this gold shimmer here, there's this deeper shade, and then there's this light brown, but the color story is much more cohesive when you put it on the eyes. And this gold, while it is a beautiful shimmery gold, in certain lights it's got like a green reflect to it, which I think is beautiful, and I think really pulls the rest of this together. So I do think this is beautiful. It's just ranking lower because I don't reach for it as often as I reach for some of my others that I super love. So for that reason, this one is a little bit lower, but I still think it's really beautiful, and I'm definitely excited to use this one a little bit more. Okay, coming in at number 6 is the newest mini palette, and this is the mini Bronze. So this one is very beautiful. These are definitely shades and tones that I really enjoy. I also have the midi bronze, and I kind of like this one more. I just find the midi is really expensive and a lot of the shades are kind of redundant. A lot of the looks created look exactly the same. And while pretty much going to get a similar look every single time you use this one, it's only 5 shades, so I'm kind of expecting that. I think this did a really, really good job of being that little sister that can also just get it done. If you've been on the fence about bronze, like you really like the color story, but it is so expensive, and it truly is, I would just go with this because, again, a lot of the looks with bronze look very, very similar. Whereas with this one, that's all just kind of condensed into this, and I like this one so much more. So I put this one at number 6. Okay, coming in number 5 is one I thought was going to rank a lot higher because I really do love this one. This is the Mini Glam palette. And I definitely thought this was going to rank higher because her full-size glam is like one of my very favorites. But I love this one. There's just a couple color stories that I like a little bit better. However, this one is just so beautiful. This is so easy to wear. You can absolutely use all 5 shades if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just do this one in the crease, darken with this one, and pop one of these on all over the lid and call it a day. You can do whatever you want. This is really easy to create a look with. I love working with this one. It's so beautiful, and the shimmers are absolutely gorgeous. So I really, really do love this one, and I highly recommend this one if you're into cool tones or if you've been eyeing up her glam palette. These are all different shades, but much like the bronze, this is a really good example of the little sister palette. Coming at number 4 is the most colorful of the mini palettes that I have, and this is the Mini Love palette. This is one I did not expect to love so much either. This one kind of came out at a time when I was just getting into pinks and purples. I typically stick with my browns, my bronzes, my cool tones. I do branch into pink quite often, and any other colors are either green or purple, and those are the colors that I use on my lids. But this came out at a time when I wasn't really even using pink and purple much. It was just really, really those brown tones. But this really impressed me, and this really showed me how beautiful those looks can be. I love these 2 matte purples. They're really beautiful. I do think this middle one can be a little bit patchy, but it's not bad at all. These pink shimmers are gorgeous, and I love the way we have like this kind of cream shimmer in the palette. It does a really nice job of highlighting that inner corner if that's what you're looking for, but it's just a really nice complement to the otherwise very pinky purple shades in here. I think she did a beautiful, beautiful job with this one. So I really love this one, and it kind of surprised me that this one ranked as high as it did. And at number 3 is the Mini Retro. So this is one that I probably wouldn't use all 5 shades together, but I super, super love it in general. I love creating a look with the pinks, or you can go with these more gray-green type shades. But what's so special is this shade Galaxia. This is like one of her, I forget what she calls them. I think it's something like a diamond reflect. So beautiful. So this one has a slight pinkness to it, but it's just such a sparkly, sparkly iridescent shade. It is gorgeous. So this one really ranks so high mostly because of Galaxia, but I really love even just using it with those 2 pinks. I love to put this pink shade all in the crease, this shimmer just kind of all over the lid, and then top it with this one. It looks so pretty. It's one of my favorite looks that I do. It's just so simple, but it's also just kind of elegant and pretty. And I recently did a look with my new ABH palette, the Nouveau palette, and I took the purple shade from there, and I just put that purple all over the lid, and I built it up just a little bit, and then I topped it with Galaxia, and it looked so pretty. So simple, but so pretty, and I loved the way that look came out. So for that reason, this one is number 3, mostly just because of that one phenomenal shade, but Retro is definitely number 3 for me. Coming at number 2 is the Mini Nude. So of course I would love this one. This one is our basic neutral browns. You have 2 mattes, 3 shimmers, so you kind of get a range sort of a range of the brown looks you can create, but this is so easy to work with, so everyday friendly, so pretty, and it just looks like you put in so much more work than you did when you use this one. So I really love this one, and again, it's just appropriate for every day, so for that reason this one just ranks really high with me. And finally, coming in number 1 is a palette that when I first reviewed it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty. I don't think it's spectacular. It's really pretty, the quality is great, but it's not special. Well, lo and behold, it became my favorite ever mini that she has ever come out with. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Biba. So beautiful, and her full-size Biba palette is one that I have eyed up forever. I have wanted that palette so badly, but I just cannot splurge on it. This is so beautiful. So this, I think, is her only mini that has one of her cream to powder shades. So I was kind of excited to see that. And then I know that this shade and then these two kind of all have a similar peachy tone to them. They kind of look pretty similar, but they do work really well together. And then you get one shade to really deepen things up. But this shimmer, this is like a rose gold shimmer, and this is my favorite eyeshadow color of all time. Every single time I get a palette that I have a shade that looks sort of like that, I'm swatching, I'm testing, I'm comparing, because I am dying to find this exact shade, whether it be in a single or another palette, because at this rate I will probably use up that shade and then I have to buy the palette again because I am so obsessed with that one shade. And the name of that shade is Blaze Nude, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And that is it. That is my ranking of all of my Natasha Denona mini palettes. So let me know down below what your favorite minis are. Do you agree with me on any of these? Do you disagree? Let me know that too. I am so curious. I love Natasha Denona as a brand, obviously. I love her products. So I do have a lot of them. But that is it for me today. Thank you so very much for watching. If you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go. I do upload at least 3 new videos every single week. And that's it for me today. Thank you again so very much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!